Hey guys, welcome back to RonMan Gaming. I'm RonMan. Today we're taking a look at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time for the Super Nintendo. Turtles in Time was developed by Konami for the arcade in 1991 and ported to the Super Nintendo in 1992. As you all know, Turtles in Time is a beat-em-up capable of two-player co-op, complete with a one-on-one fighting mode and time trials. Your goal is to get the Statue of Liberty back from Shredder, who had Krang steal it for some reason. You immediately jump into action. The stages are colorful and don't overstay their welcome. Just a few levels in, you fight Shredder in what I consider to be the best boss fight in the game. Once defeated, he banishes you to a time warp from which he thinks you'll never return. Well, of course you do, but while in the time warp, you'll be taken to the prehistoric age, the future, and everything in between. Yeah, okay, we all know this, but why does everyone love this game so much? Well, on the surface, it represents the show perfectly. The graphics and the music are amazing. It's fun to throw guys at the screen or slam them side to side, and the controls are tight. It doesn't feel stiff or sluggish like how other beat-em-ups feel. Okay, so, is that really it? No. See, once you spend a lot of time with this game, you'll start to notice tons of nuance. The Turtles, for example, are all very different. Leo is the balanced character, decent at everything but not the best at anything. Michelangelo has the strongest regular attack and has the best defense. Donatello is as strong as Leo but is the slowest and has poor defense. Last but not least, Raph has the weakest regular attack and the lowest defense, but he has the strongest dash attack and the strongest special. On top of that, he's easily the fastest turtle. Raph is my favorite turtle in general and in this game, but he's not for beginners. He's kinda like a glass cannon. You can die really easy, but if you're good, you can murder the Foot Clan in almost embarrassing ways. From what I can tell, Don is the least effective. He's way too slow and his defense is also not very good. His special attack is strong, but it's not as strong as Raph's. A lot of people really seem to put value in his range, but to me it doesn't seem to make much of a difference. I've never felt like I benefited from his range, or with other turtles was at a disadvantage without it. For beginners, your best bet is Mike or Leo. If you really want to get good at Turtles in Time, I recommend turning player dash to manual. To run, double tap forward. I admit it's a little tricky to get the hang of, but once you do, it's worth it. That way you have better control of dash attacks and kicks. This is where you'll notice even more nuance. I never use regular attacks as my main attack. I mostly use these to set up throws. I spend the majority of my time rushing back and forth, kicking, sliding, and shoulder checking enemies, except for in levels like Sewer Surfin' and Neon Knight Rider, which by the way are great levels and really help to mix up the gameplay. Once you learn how to properly run, slide, kick, and shoulder check, this already fun game becomes an absolute blast. It's not just walking and hitting things. Speaking of, whenever I watch anyone else play this game, whether it's YouTube videos or whatever, I find that most people just play the game by walking and spamming the regular attack button. Here's an example of how I see most people play this game. They tend to just spam regular attack. I mean, the game is still fun, but once you really understand all the different moves, you really feel like you take control of this game. The word that I think best describes this game is variety. There's variety in the character selection, there's variety in the level settings, there's variety in the music, and there's variety in how you fight. We've all played beat-em-ups where every level looks the same and the fighting is just so basic, but Turtles in Time is the exact opposite of that. And also, who doesn't love the Ninja Turtles? I mean, it's just fun to be in their world. Turtles in Time has 3 difficulty modes. This mostly seems to affect the number of enemies you'll encounter throughout the game. There is one exception that I can think of. In the first Shredder fight, you know, the one where you have to throw the enemies at the screen, well, on hard mode, all the foot soldiers are the type who can block your attacks, so you'll need to use shoulder checks to break their guard and then throw them. What an ingenious way to increase the difficulty. Now, if I did have a nitpick with Turtles in Time, it would be that I think the game is a little too easy, even on hard mode. This is one thing that I actually really appreciate about Turtles 3, the Manhattan Project, is that the game is actually pretty tough. Nitpicks aside, Turtles in Time is my favorite beat 'em up, and that's why I give it a 10 out of 10. So that's Turtles in Time, man. I love this game. I love the graphics, the music. It's just so fun to play. Anytime I have someone over, I always get them to play Turtles in Time, especially if it's their first time over. Turtles in Time is always the first game I force them to play. I pull out a gun, and I'm in Canada, we don't have guns, but I pull out my fingers, and I'm like, you sit down and you play Turtles in Time. And Turns out I didn't need to do my fingers because they were usually willing. They're always willing to sit down and play Turtles in Time. Thank you so much. If you like this video, please like. If you're new here, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.